It's so quiet.
Good? Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the November 20th, 2025 meeting of the town board to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Delarada.
Here.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
Councilmember Brennan.
Here.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Here. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. We wish to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kaniki Haka and the Mohikonok peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land through generations. We are going to start with some approval of minutes for the October 23rd, 2025. May I have a motion for the approval of those minutes?
September 30th.
It is September
Okay.
30th. I have an old version. Sorry about that.
September
Okay, may I have a second?
2nd.
Any discussion? Changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. All right. We are going to do our committee reports first. We're going to start with police and public safety.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Police and Public Safety Committee met on November 6th. Under operations, we talked about that we're waiting on agreements to be sent for review for our dangerous dog contracts. But we do know the prices are not going up this year, so that was great. Oh, good. Awesome. Chief Koshin gave us a reminder that there's no parking on town roads on the highways between November 1st to April 1st so that we can get snow plows through and do the leaf pickups and emergency vehicles can get through without problems. For our discussion on e-bikes, Chief Koshin stated that we have ongoing discussions with other municipalities to regulate the bike paths consistently. For fleet and equipment, we have our car 602 is completed and on the road. We have a firearm purchase resolution tonight to purchase firearms and to surplus our old firearms. We have a uniform purchase, which is to purchase one set of uniforms for all of our members. We have a Motorola license plate reader purchase, and this is to utilize on our burn grant purchase traffic trailer and also a solar-powered mobile license plate reader. We also have the Patrick Leahy Best Grant application, and this is a 50-50 matching grant, so we talked about that. Under building, Chief Koshin talked about the locker rooms and said that he spoke with the Burn JAG grant administrators and the department will be applying for grant monies to update our locker rooms. For training, Sergeant Munger is attending Police Supervisor School this month, and Officer Guest and Officer Walker attended the New York Women's Law Enforcement Conference in Syracuse. For citizen correspondence, we had a new citizen issue that came up. Someone reached out with concerns about Grand Boulevard and asked for the speed limit to be changed to 25 miles an hour. Chief Koshin stated that the Traffic and Community Engagement Division has been notified and the traffic study is to be conducted. For town events, we have Coffee with the Cop at the Senior Center, the third Tuesday monthly. Chief Koshin will be attending that. We discussed the Niski food drive, the emergency SNAP food drive that we had at Town Hall on November 8th. The goal for that was to fill the Capitol Church food pantry. It's the only pantry that's located actually in Niskayuna. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated and supported us in any way. We're able to collect food that would give us 19,958 meals. And also we collected $2,000 in cash donations to purchase food. The pantry is filled and people are utilizing it, and it was a huge success of everyone working together. We also had a talk about the holiday parade this year that Fire Department 1 will be hosting again. Chief Enna stated that It's tentatively scheduled for December 13th. So we're excited to do that. The parade will focus again this year to do Adopt a Family for the Niskuna School District. For town clerk, we talked about background check fees, and Clerk Martinelli stated that she contacted other municipalities and they have their local police departments conduct them without fees. Chief Koshin said he's going to follow up with other police departments to understand their processes and fee schedules. And we had a discussion talking about potential fee increase to $100 for background checks. For court and town attorney, Attorney Finnan talked about just continuing with the extreme risk protection order cases, unlicensed dog cases, and the bus patrol hearings. For fire department, Chief Vena stated that October was Fire Prevention Month, and it was a huge success for all the fire departments with an education of 2,466 children and 286 adults. Chief Vena spoke about the success of the open house events for both fire departments, and he thanked the police department members on behalf of Fire District 1 and 2. Assistant Chief Henry for attending their open houses and engaging with the community. Under personnel, we have Officer Mabo has completed probation and they're doing great work, and Officer Mabo will be recommended for permanent appointment. For resolutions tonight, we have the surplus of the old firearms, we have the Motorola LPR purchase, we have the permanent appointment of Officer Mabo, and we have the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest grant application. And our next meeting will be December 4th at 3:30.
Great, thank you so much. We'll move on to Highway and Community Program.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. We met November 6th here at Town Hall, 8 a.m. Start our meeting with our Highway Department that is led by Ray Smith. Discussion for the meeting. We discussed basketball courts, new backboards and equipment that's been ordered. We talked about some equipment for Mohawk Park, our materials bid list, which is in the paper for the 17th of this month. Then the bid opening for that will be December 4th. That's all the material that the Highway Department might need throughout the year coming. So we get a material list together, put it out to bid, and that's an open bidding situation on December 4th. We're also reviewing some quotes for cleaning some of the ductwork here at Town Hall, doing some mitigation there since we have our new roof. Now we're going to clean the duct system. It's never been cleaned here at Town Hall, so we're getting some quotes for doing that work. Yard waste pickup. I'm sure everybody's seen that the yard waste pickup has been out there for loose brush and loose leaves. Right now it's all loose leaf pickup. Please try to get them out to the edge of the road, hopefully before it snows. So that's our goal. If it does snow, we will suspend that, but then we do try to go back out and pick them up if we do get a break in the weather. We discussed the purchase of a skid steer, and that's on for resolution this evening. That's a budgeted item. Next, we talk about community programs. That is headed up by Lori Peretti. Our Socktoberfest this year, we collected 575 pairs of brand new socks for local youth. Second year we've participated in this program. Very well, very well. Thank you to everyone who contributed to that. It's a great cause. Our first trunk or treat, well, it really wasn't our first. It was probably the second. It was a bigger event this year.
It was less of a parade and more of a trunk or treat.
Okay. Very, very well attended. If anybody came to the Halloween celebration here at Town Hall, there were a lot of people here. We had a lot of people to thank for that. Annabelle's Pizza was here. Kettle Corn was here. Kona Ice. Broken Inn was here with a van with root beer. It was very delicious. We also want to thank Stewart Shop, First National Bank of Scotia, Uncle Rico's Pizza again, Niskuna Community Foundation, and Reliable Development Consulting, all big sponsors of that event. The police department had a little haunted house in the lower area. Just really good event. Fire department was also here. We want to thank them. So thank you to everyone and everyone that came out. Also, Niskuna art students and a photo op board and donate to paint, pumpkin table, just everybody that, contributed to this event, thank you so much. It was a very, very nice event and very well attended by our residents. And at that event, we collected a lot of food for Niski Now, a lot of cans. It filled an entire truck. It was an amazing amount of stuff that's been brought here for that event and other events. Because as we know with what's going on in our country right now, there are people that need this food, and Niskuna really has stepped up in a big way to try to fill that. So thank you all for that. On that same vein, we have a box out in the entryway there for Toys for Tots. So we are participate in that program every year, and that'll be out there till December 12th. We also have a giving tree out there with wish tags for things of my very own. That's a very well supported charity here by people in town hall. So that's also out there in the foyer. Okay, our annual tree lighting is going to be on December 12th. That's another great event for anybody who has never been to that. I encourage you to come. The high schoolers come and they sing for us, and we light the tree out here in the gazebo, and we have hot chocolate and candy canes. It's just a very, very nice event, building community spirit here, and it's very well attended. Parents' Night Out is December 13th. You have to register for that. So they have a craft for kids, and this is so that parents can go out. Maybe they need to do some holiday shopping, or they just need a night out. So we sponsor that here at Town Hall. So you have to register for that. We discussed the ski club. The town sponsors a ski club for the high schoolers, and that is at West Mountain. And that program runs from January 9th to February 13th. Contact Julie Lore if you have any questions about that. Veterans Day celebration that we had here on November 10th. We had a very nice veterans celebration here on November 10th at Town Hall. And we want to thank Starbucks. Starbucks donated coffee and all kinds of goodies and refreshments for everyone here. That was very well attended. So again, another very, very nice program that we had. At our meeting, we also discussed the disc golf course over there that's on top over by the landfill. We're going to have some continuing discussions on that and the maintenance and the cost for us to continue to do that. We are also doing a Festival of Wreaths. You can look all this up on the town website. I know I'm going kind of quick, but community programs has a lot of stuff going on. So we're doing Festival of Wreaths. If anybody wants to do that and donate a wreath, you can look that information up on the town website. And then we go into our senior program. Linda O'Brien reports about that for our senior center down at the rec center on Aqueduct Road. And if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about all the wonderful things they have going down there. Alzheimer's support, blood pressure clinics, eyeglass adjustments, a lot of stuff going on there. They've got a trip to the holiday lights up in Half Moon area. And also they do things like bedazzling totes. So I wouldn't know what that was. So somebody did, they take a tote and they bedazzle it. I guess those things are coming back. Some of the ladies might know about that, but all good things that are happening down at the senior center. Exercise programs, many, many things going on down there. And our next meeting is December 4th at 8 a.m.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll move on to water, sewer, and engineering.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. The Water, Sewer, and Engineering Committee met earlier this month on November 7th, a couple of weeks ago. I was not in attendance at that meeting. However, of course, I have been in contact with the supervisor and with our Deputy Superintendent of Water and Sewer. And I just want to provide a brief update on a couple of the more major topics that were discussed at our meeting. First off, as everyone is aware, we've been working with Raftellus to analyze our water and sewer rates as well as our water and sewer infrastructure throughout the town. We recently submitted to Raftellus information on water meters, the different size meters that we have in properties throughout the town. And we've also provided them with a copy of the budget, which the town board will be voting on tonight for next year. Raftellus is analyzing that information and working on drafting the water and sewer rates that are needed to meet our revenue requirements as projected in the budget. They've also been looking at different groups of users and what rates will best suit those users, for example, not-for-profits and small businesses or commercial properties. We have asked them for a ready-to-serve model, and we anticipate that more information on the rates will be coming in time for next month's town board meeting. Regarding our organic waste program down at the wastewater treatment plant, we do have some significant changes coming there early next year. As I've been reporting for the last several months, we are working with Chobani and currently accept their waste. Right now, we're taking in at least a dozen trucks a week. Chobani recently notified us that they are changing their own process, and they'll now be disposing of that waste on their own property using their own facilities. And I believe in February, they'll be significantly reducing the amount of waste that they bring to our facility, which will, of course, impact our revenue. Luckily, we are authorized by the state to accept all different kinds of dairy waste. And so we've been working with Chobani again to accept DAFs, which is dissolved air flotation waste. Right now, we're taking 1 truck a week of DAFs from Chobani and seeing how our digesters respond to that. As of right now, there are no significant changes or major impacts to the plant. And so that will be a option going forward in 2026. Lastly, regarding the corrosion study that we've been working on for the last couple of months, we have reached the halfway point with that. Information that was obtained during the first half of the study has been sent to the lab and is being analyzed. And we're sort of in a waiting period right now, waiting for that information to come back. But of course, still working on a solution to help the handful of residents who are experiencing higher than normal copper levels in their water. The next meeting of the Water, Sewer, and Engineering Committee will be 2 weeks from yesterday. It's on a Wednesday in December. Normally we meet Thursdays, but next month it'll be Wednesday, December 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. And that is all I have. Thank you, Supervisor.
Great. Thanks so much. And economic development.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. We meet on the first Friday of every month right here at Town Hall in the Schaefer Room. We did meet on November 7th. There's not a whole lot going on as far as economic development during the winter months, but we are moving forward with all of our grants. The Lincoln Study Grant is moving forward, as well as the Route 7 signage grant. Hopefully, and I do know that we had a meeting on November 18th regarding Route 7 at Iroquois School that I believe was well attended. So hopefully we will get the results of those and keep moving forward to making Route 7 a safer place for people traveling in and around Niskayuna. Also, we are going to appoint a new member to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Miss Renee Behrens, another volunteer that Niskayuna desperately needs. And of course, we're going to need some more of those. We're going to have an opening on the Conservation Advisory Committee due to a longtime volunteer being elected to the town board, who's done a great job there. Recently just completed a national resources inventory. That's just a wonderful document that's really going to help increase people's property values by conserving all of our open space that surrounds us. Also, a planning board volunteer who's been volunteering for many years will be leaving the planning board to join the town board. So we're going to need somebody to take her spot. I do encourage all of our residents, as always, to join these committees because that is the best way to put your stamp on this town. There is email blasts going out. There is information on the Niskayuna Town website regarding those committees. So anybody that is interested, please do follow up because we need you. We will be meeting again. It will be my last meeting, the first Friday of December, and all are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have a whole bunch of little things before I talk a little bit about the budget, of which is one of our resolutions to pass this evening. I want to reiterate that the Veterans Day ceremony was fantastic. I think in the past we've had it outside, which is sort of temperamental with the weather. We had it in here, which was a little overwhelming because we had an amazing amount of choral students in here, which was great because it sounded great. But we're going to maybe switch up a few things next year about how we have everyone fitting in the room. But it was really fantastic to have them here. And the turnout was wonderful. So thank you to Niskuna High School and to Christina for bringing her choral students and also her elite choral teams over for the Veterans Day ceremony. I thought it was fantastic. We also had a chance, the planning board, some members of the county legislature, the press, we had an opportunity to go over to GE Vernova's new facilities. They're not actually finished yet, so this was sort of a sneak peek, but they gave us some plans. They let us take a look at things inside. There were a bunch of us there, so they had an outdoor kind of event venue set up down outside. So even though we were a little cold, they had all kinds of hot cider and coffee out there and were very welcoming. Their project is really inspiring. I encourage you to go and learn some more about what they have going on over in that facility over there. They've talked a lot about connecting with the school district, making sure that the students in this area have an opportunity to see what they're doing. They have big plans for the patio area. And I know anyone that was there, I know that there's a handful of you that are out in the audience right now that were there. I know you're probably really excited to see what that patio looks like. So am I. So I can't wait for them to finish it in the spring. It was wonderful for them to invite us over there. We also had a chance to go to the ribbon cutting of sorts at Iroquois Middle School. Of course, the students have been in there since the beginning of the school year, but they did an amazing amount of work to that building and had a kind of opening day, so to speak, to show the public what it looks like. And it nearly doubled in size. The classrooms are really impressive. And the comments were incredible from the teachers to the parents to the students that were helping us kind of walk around and look at the new facilities. It's incredible. And it's I say just a middle school. It's the middle school. It looks like it could be an elite high school. It's a beautiful building. So if you do get an opportunity to go over and take a look, it's really impressive, the work that they did and the way that they're connecting the dots between what's going on in the future of what our kids need to learn, which is, I know I was in education for a long time, and we talked a lot about how slowly things move. And this gives me a lot of excitement about how our town is really moving ahead of other towns in facilities and in programming. So it was really exciting to go to that. And even just today, I went over to Community Bank, who had their ribbon cutting today over in Mohawk Commons. So it's a new business. They are a growing bank in the community. They've been around for a while, but they actually rebranded. So I was asking a little about this because they had a lot of like really bright poppy colored orange. And I don't know why, but it made the event that much more exciting. It was even better to be there because they also gave NCAP, which is an organization that is very closely related to a lot of the community things that we do here, the Community Foundation. They were able to give NISCA Day, which is an NCAP event, a $5,000 donation, which is not insignificant to that event. I think a lot of people think that the town puts that on. We don't. It's NCAP, it's volunteers. And the volunteers that work on that committee work really hard to get enough to be able to put that on for free. It's a free event. So I think it was really wonderful that they did that. They're also giving some monies to Things of Our Very Own, which are the gift tags that are out in the lobby here. If you go and take a look at them, you can get things for folks who don't necessarily have what they need for the holiday season. And Community Bank is also giving back to that. So it's wonderful being invited to that beautiful building. And they took over the Taco Bell in Mohawk Commons, which has not been looking so great lately. I know my kids were upset that they closed it, but it was not looking good. And it looks beautiful now. The building that they put together it's great. I also had a chance to go to the JCC Gala, which is it's an annual event. They did it at Mohawk Golf Club this year. The reason why I bring it up is because National Grid was one of the recipients of an award that JCC gives out to sometimes individuals, sometimes organizations. I say that because our police department happened to have a former detective, now sergeant, who was there with us, and we were just really hammering National Grid on all the things that we wanted to chat with them about. So it was great that they were there being honored. It gave us an opportunity to have some in-person conversations that we might not have otherwise had. I've also had we've been doing a lot of work on the comprehensive plan, which we haven't really brought up a whole lot lately, but we've been working really hard on. We had really hoped to get that in before the end of the year, but I think rather than try to put everything together quickly. We really want to make sure that it looks good before it's approved. So it will still be the 2025 comprehensive plan, but the final version will likely be approved in early 2026. So those committee meetings are ongoing. If you would like to join in, we should be closing it up, but we've talked a little bit about keeping it going so that we can have a kind of loop of feedback for comprehensive plans. They tend to go, 10 years over a period of time. It sort of makes sense to check in every now and again. So we've talked about some ways that communities maybe have kept those committees going so that they can look back at the plans that they've approved. Where are we? How do we update it? How do we get to a point where we're not kind of taking a year and a half to try to get a whole bunch of information over the last 10 years together, but rather have had an ongoing collection of information and updating the plans that were already in there. We also have today, it's on my mind. We're going to talk a little bit about this with the ceremonial resolution for next month, but a longtime member of the Building and Planning Department, Ken Hassett, today was, I think, his last day. If it's not tomorrow, I think it was today. So we had a little luncheon for him today. He's been here for 17 and a half years. And if you've had a building project in town that you've needed a building inspector for, you might have seen him come and help you out. We're really excited for him to retire, but of course, sad to see him go. So that's on my mind as well. For NISCA Day, I wanted to mention they did approve in their committee meeting the theme for the 45th. I think it's very early this year. It's the third Saturday in May. The theme will be Paint the Town Red, and they have a really fun logo that they'll be unveiling soon. But I encourage you to go on social media and follow their page so that you can keep track of their progress as they move toward getting everything together for that date. For the budget's largely similar to what we had presented as the preliminary budget. I wanted to highlight some of the changes that were in there. We don't have control over all of the salaries that are in there because they're pre-negotiated in labor contracts. The non-represented employees are usually the ones that we have to look at and say, what do we have left? We did not have a lot left this year. But we wanted to make sure that everybody got some sort of an increase because we're all sort of feeling the grip of the increase in pricing. So we had to make a decision between giving people a step increase, which would mean moving them to the next level. If you're familiar with the term, it would be like the next level as though you're moving ahead a next year. If you had a step increase, though, we didn't offer them the COLA. If you didn't have a step increase because you were maxed out in the salary schedule, we put in a 3% COLA. So that did modify the salaries in, I think, they're distributed pretty much in every fund. So you'll see those slight increases there. We also had, I know Jason alluded to some changes in water and sewer. We're trying to work through, we've used Sewer District 6, the wastewater treatment plant, as a way to hopefully generate revenue to offset some of the expenses of upgrading that facility. Things have just changed rapidly in the last 6 weeks, and we're trying to manage those changes, but we're also trying to be realistic in our estimates of what the revenue will be and how much it's going to cost us. There is a site in Albany that we used for dumping I think it's sludge at that point. Yeah. It's closing. So anywhere we go is likely going to be an increase in cost just simply because we have to haul it further than Albany. So we're trying to find a good facility that we can use. We're trying to anticipate how much we'll be bringing in, and then hopefully meet the revenue and the expenses that we have there. But those are some challenges that we've encountered. We also found out we had been using Your Niskayuna as a way to push out the newsletter and a QR code and kind of a snippet section of our newsletter directing to the bigger one online. That Your Niskayuna is now no longer going to be mailed to every house unless you have an active Gazette subscription. So we're trying to find some different ways to reach everyone. That was a good way for us to try to get at least a big swath of people because it was being sent directly to their homes. One of the things that we're exploring that's a relatively low-cost alternative and an add-on to our website is actually an app that you put on your phone that would allow for push notifications. We thought that might be able to span across generations and different groups of residents. So we're working on that. We put a nominal increase in the budget in order to make that happen. It's not overly expensive, but we're really mindful of the communication and how to roll that out in the best way possible with the resources that we have. So that's a bit of a change. The other thing that we're doing, and I think that this is a longer term solution to a lot of different concerns that we have, is introducing some asset management software. I've mentioned this a bit before, but we didn't really have a solid grip on what the cost was going to be. I did add that into initially our water and 2 sewer budgets. What that's going to do is ensure that we're tracking not only all of the equipment that we're using to fix water main breaks, to repair sewers, all of this really expensive equipment that we're replacing year over year. We want to keep track of how we're using it, whether we're using it effectively, how long the lifespan is. This asset management software can track every time that we use it for a particular issue. On top of that, it can also map the water mains that we have, because those are assets in the town as well, some of them older and not fantastic, some of them newer. But we can track how often a water main is being worked on and with what equipment and how much it's actually costing us. And so this is going to help us to not only pinpoint the places that we need to target when we're replacing that infrastructure. I talked a little bit about trying to go for 1% a year. We've got a bunch of stuff ahead of us in 26, so we probably wouldn't start that 1% until 27. But that will give us a place to start. So here are the places that we're spending the most money with the most equipment, the most manpower. Here's the oldest infrastructure, or in some cases, the infrastructure that's failing, even though it's not really old. So this asset management software will not only help us with the equipment and making sure that we're making mindful purchases, but also with our assets in the form of the infrastructure as well. I'd like to start in water and sewer in both of the sewer districts and the water district in order to see how it works, to see if it's operating the way that we want, and then eventually roll that out to the rest of the funds in town, which would include highway and would include the general fund. Right now, we use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of our fixed assets. It's an imperfect but very inexpensive way to keep track of fixed assets. So that's another thing that we added in that was in addition to what was put out for the preliminary budget. We also went through all of our community programs. I say that because those are typically programs that are offset by revenue. So people pay to come in and do an adult fitness class, or might pay for swim lessons, those kinds of things. We took a half a day and went through to see which services we were maybe undercharging for. It's not often that we increase those prices, especially for things like learn to swim classes, because of course we want to make sure that we have the accessibility for our residents to have their kids learn how to swim. But we also need to be realistic about how much it's costing us to run the town pool and to pay for lifeguards and to pay for swim instructors. So we went through all of those and made some changes. I think in the past we've been a little bit, overestimating on our revenues, hoping that we were going to bring that money in, but we were very clear and honest and crisp about what we put in there. So what that means for us is that we've got some pretty realistic budget numbers. It also means we don't really have a lot of movement. So as I've said before, it's going to be a pretty tight budget year, which I've communicated to all of our department heads. I think after this year, we're going to be in really good shape because we will have paid off all of the short-term debt in town. So we can all just kind of hold our breath and try to stay where we are. And we have some small projects in for next year, but we're going to maintain and then revisit things. Maintain and then revisit things for the year after, and hopefully have a whole lot more funds to spend on things without increasing the budget, because we will have paid off a whole lot of short-term debt. So I'm excited for that. Aside from that, we made some slight changes to no, we didn't make changes to yard waste. That's another thing I wanted to highlight. This year and last year, we didn't make any changes to the yard waste fee, even though the cost of yard waste is still increasing. I highlight that because I know that tends to be something that we'll get some comments on. You're increasing fees instead of increasing taxes. Sometimes we need to do that because some people use the yard waste service and some people don't. And so they don't want to pay taxes on that. I've tried to hold it steady so that we can get a realistic look at how much it's costing us for yard waste. But again, I highlight that because it's an area that we've increased fees and not necessarily increased taxes, and we didn't do that this year. In Water District 1, all of the debt service that you would normally see on your tax bill if you are I'm sorry, not Water District, Sewer District 1. So, most of Old Niskayuna, you won't have anything on your tax bill this year because we were able to use an overabundance of fund balance to pay off what normally would have been distributed there. So that should be an average of about a $43 decrease, which should cover most of the tax increase for the general fund. So Sewer District 1 shouldn't really see much of an impact. Sewer District 6, there was a reduction in their debt service as well. So the impact of the tax increase for general and highway should also be a little bit lessened by the fact that the debt service isn't on their tax bill at all. We did send all of this information over to Raftellus already in anticipation of us passing the budgets for water and both sewer accounts this evening. So I will have a whole lot of information from them for December. We really need to pass rates in December or else they will stay the same. And I know nobody loves the rates. So we're really looking forward to having a good conversation about only utility rates and some organizational changes for next year as we do every December. But for now, we're going to focus a bit on highway and the general fund. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our privilege of the floor, and we'll open that with whoever has signed up.
Natalie Taverio.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. Natalie Tiberio, 8 Seneca Road. I just really want to touch on some of the expenses in certain departments or budget areas, one of them being the Water District 1. I was looking at it and it looks like we have increased spending $2 million in the last 2 years. So that was a little bit of a concern. And I'm looking at projections of what we need in terms of redevelopment of wells, water towers. And these are costs that we don't have concrete costs for those areas. I'm encouraged that we've paid down debt, but I'm also thinking that we're going to be accumulating more for this area. And this budget is $6.7 million, which is pretty significant when you look at all the other budgets. So and I put an email to you, Aaron, and I know that we've discussed it back and forth, but I just think that it's potentially time to revisit a cost benefit analysis of maybe purchasing all of our water from Schenectady, especially given that we have some significant needs in water towers, 2 of them well redevelopment. So those are all very, very high price costs that maybe potentially if we were to purchase water from Schenectady, we would eliminate those needs. I'm always looking at decreasing expenses, and I know the state controller's office, when they audited just the budget several years ago, they asked and requested as a recommendation that we reduce our expenses. So I'm encouraged that we are paying off debt, but I'm also seeing that we're going to be taking on quite a significant amount of debt, especially in Water District 1. Another area that I think that we definitely do need to concentrate on is the infrastructure. But there's just one thing that's really just been pestering me is that River Road, it's, we need, I guess, redevelopment of the water and sewer lines. And this is to be able to service GE and their future needs. Just to put it out there, I think everyone should be treated equally. My company had to pay for water and sewer lines down a road. Iroquois Village also had to put in brand new water and sewer lines down Hillside Avenue. And if we're going to treat every business equally, GE needs to fund that. And it needs to go into, it needs to be their expense. They have much deeper pockets than the other two companies that I just mentioned that were responsible for putting them in. So I think that I'm encouraging someone with really terrific negotiation skills to go over there and tell GE that they really need to cover it. And if there's any businesses that are located on that road that would benefit from the increase, and if they're going to have a zoning change, they should be funding a certain portion as well, because they're going to be profiting, especially if they are requiring a zoning change. Okay, just being fair. So basically, that's it. I'm just really hoping that the new year brings a different approach. Maybe we'll look at, reducing or looking at cost savings in water departments. And, I would much rather purchase water from Schenectady, reduce our budget, rather than share police officer departments. I would much rather have Niskayuna be separate and have our own police department. So I think we have to look at more strategic, larger items in the future in order to, because inflation is here. Everything keeps on going up. There are areas that we can't control, but if there's areas that we can control, we should really seriously start looking at them. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Rickard.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My comments tonight are going to be very brief. However, they are regarding the upcoming budget, the deliberations, and ultimate passage of the complete budget for 2026. I promised my supporters that regardless of the outcome of the election, that I would stay active, stay involved, and so I intend on fulfilling that promise. And so my two quick points are this. One, last meeting, Thomas Nickey came and he spoke to us about the need to deliberate, discuss, and analyze and look into issues, not to just rubber stamp past them. And so I'd encourage you to do that as we finalize things here for 2026. The other thing is, and this is really important to me, please keep in mind those struggling residents. They are out there, and it's not just simply town taxes. It's a combination of town taxes, school taxes, waste management fees, water fees. So please keep those folks in mind too as you're deliberating. I know you guys have a tough job to do. Appreciate all the hard work. Bill, I want to thank you for the community programs. Outstanding job. And I want to wish you all a great Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Yako.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Joseph Yackel, 914 Vroman Ave. First of all, just wanted to say thank you for setting up the Route 7 safety meeting. It was a really big turnout. I counted over 150 people. I was so encouraged to see so many people show up. It shows everybody how important this particular issue is. The media covered this strongly. All three of the news stations and the Gazette were there. So I was really happy to see that because people want to see a resolution to this issue. And I hope that we can move forward very rapidly on the New York State DOT portion of this project. There's really two distinct projects going on between the Complete Streets project, which you see the entirety of it there, but also the separate DOT project work. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Ray and the field guys for all the work that you're doing around the streets, leaf cleanup. I appreciate everything the guys do. I say hello to them every time I see them, and I'm thankful for the work that they do out there. Erin, you said lots of stuff in your opening that I wish I could talk about every one of these things, because there was a lot that you hit on regarding the budget, but like things like realistic classes for cost for classes that the town is giving, because we have to be realistic about that. It's nice to try and lowball some costs, but we have to make sure we're paying our own bills. The utility assessment software, funny you brought that up. I sent Dan Bulkey an email a week or so ago. I asked him if we could get together and brainstorm. I've done a fairly extensive analysis of the water breaks over the last 5 years. I want to brainstorm with them, see if there's things that the town doesn't look at, maybe things that you want to look at differently. I've got a really good historical perspective of the infrastructure. I'd like to bounce some ideas off him and see if there's something that may be useful that could come of that. I really kind of wanted to also just talk about the overall budget. I know you guys have worked hard on that. I read the Gazette article, and we're looking at about a $40 increase for a home assessed at $275,000. I know that does not sound like a lot of money. It's a homestead tax rate that goes up from about 282 to 295 per thousand. So when you look at the properties in the town, there's about 7,900 properties. On the low end, this won't be $40. It'll be more like maybe $8 or $10. On the top end, for the highest assessed properties, you're looking at maybe $150, $160. The 275 is, the sweet spot right in the middle at about $40. But I wanted to offer you this perspective. The assessment last year was half of that. So this is an assessment based around 13 or 14 cents per thousand. The assessment for 2025 was 8 cents. It was $22. And on the low range, it was like $4 for the cheapest properties in town, up to about $80. So we're doubling what the overall assessment is in terms of cost for the average user in town. And the reason why I bring that up is because, as you said, the Raftellus review isn't done yet, but we know that our water and sewer budgets are even larger than they were last year. And the way, the way Raftellus is working their utility rate structure, they've got to back into the numbers based on what the budget is, because they've got to meet the revenue requirement. So I know we can play with aspects of a rate design like the RTS fee and drop that a little bit, but on the other end, you have to raise the cost per 1,000 gallons. And I know we can do some carve outs for some niche groups like the American Legion and some others, which I think is probably the right thing to do, but the bottom line is the total budget number still has to be achieved, which means somebody else is picking up that cost. So again, I know you worked hard on the budget, and the $40 doesn't sound like a big average number, but we still don't know what that answer is going to be on the utility rate design. But it's probably going to be, another rate increase for residents in a large category across the town. So just asking to keep that in mind, because we only seem to go in one direction with things, and it's up. And I'm also very sensitive to the fact that staff, they're looking for pay raises because they've got to meet their expenses as well. But this is a really tricky balance, and you guys are in the chair that have to make those really hard decisions. And that means sometimes pulling things out of budgets that you may really want to do it. But when you start looking at trying to give the staff a raise and taking care of the really important essentials, something sometimes have to be a no for this year and maybe a yes for next year. That's all. I'm just asking you to always keep that kind of perspective, because that's how I kind of approach this. I don't talk to you guys so I can argue with you about things. I look at it from a lens of somebody that's not making the decision necessarily, but somebody that's looking from the point of writing the check to the town for this, that, or the other thing. And so I know you have to balance that, and you guys are all residents too. So you share the pain when the prices go up. That's it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bill Chapman?
Thank you. That's William Chapman, 1465 Clifton Park Road. Also chair of the Town Complete Streets Committee. I did want to just have one more thought. I'm supportive of having the matching money in the town budget for sidewalks on Cornelius Avenue and for Birchwood Lane. And I did have one other item that we talk about healthy infrastructure. And there was a student at Hillside Elementary that the same time that my oldest son was there, who we do have people that have serious injuries and even deaths that have happened in Niskayuna. And so we have to have the healthy infrastructure before we're going to encourage people to walk. We want our community to be more walkable. she was a student, lost her front teeth, had a head concussion, broken legs, had to be airlifted to Albany Med. And I mean, this was 30 years ago, but still on that street. And Ballston Spa in 2023 had a student. They got hit out in front of the high school and again had to be airlifted to Albany Med for services. And a year later, another accident, actually a year before that one. And we did have a woman who got injured in front of the Niskuna Co-op before we got the push button crosswalk there, and had a loss of life there. And we've had 2 pedestrians on Route 7. We had a good turnout for the Safe on Route 7 committee, which is a good thing. But we need to understand that people can get hurt and deaths can occur even in our community if we don't have the healthy infrastructure in place to make that happen. Just quickly on the water billing. I hope we haven't lost sight of the fact that when the town started out on this, they actually had 3 what I considered commendable goals in the water rates reassessment. One was that the town was 307 per 1,000 gallons of water, and many of our neighbors had gone to 4 because they saw the increases in chemicals and insurance and paying salary. And we were behind at 307 when many had moved to 4. So we really needed to increase those revenues so that we're not having to dip into fund balance to pay the expenses to run the water fund each year. A second goal that's going to be accomplished really is moving water billing to the utility bill, which the state controller's office has encouraged not only Niskuna but all towns to do. And the supervisors mentioned that the property tax assessment that used to be on our property tax bill has gone down to perhaps 0, but it's something the state has encouraged the town to do, to move that charge off the property tax bill to a utility bill. And the other is that the sewer charge, item 3, is now going to be based on usage. And that's a change. Instead of a charge of $400 on everybody's property tax bill in the sewer one, it's now based on usage, how much water is in the home and how much people are using, which I think there's a fairness element to that. There are 28 homes on the block I live on, but 8 homes have a single adult that lives there. And so they're just not using the same volume of water as other people do. And so they're paying for what they use. Also, the consultants were here. They talked to really, one goal would be to reduce rates for low volume users. And in fall of 2023, we had $78 for usage of the first 9,490 gallons of water to the home, which is really $8.22 per 1,000 gallons. So that's quite a ways over the 440. It's double what that is. And so if we're able to have a water billing structure that doesn't hit the low volume users harder, and also charging higher rates to people that are high volume users, which again, if you have the blessing of a larger family, you're going to use some more water. But if you have a swimming pool or you have a sprinkler system, the water, you're using more water. And so billing folks for doing that. So I do think it makes sense to sympathetic to that model that the consultant outlined, is lowering the rates, not having high fixed rates for users at the bottom, and then higher volume. I also, the idea of purchasing more water from the city of Schenectady, I think it has some appeal where you have your per 1,000 gallon cost to produce water from our own well field. But if you can buy water from the city at a lower charge and they're willing to sell it, that's certainly something to look at. But I don't think we'd want to be in a position where we don't have the capacity to pump our own water if we need to. I mean, if you're 100% from the city, then you become a prisoner. And so as expenses go up, and you've got to pay the freight. Whereas now, if we have our own well fields and we've taken some steps to improve those, we still have that capacity to do that, to hold the line on these water charges. So
Thank you. Did anyone else like to speak?
Good evening, Linda Rizzo, 2229 Fairlawn Parkway, Niskiuna. This is in regard to Resolution 2025-244 on mold remediation. If there are legitimate concerns about mold, the very first step should be engaging a certified environmental service firm to perform a full visual assessment, conduct proper testing, and provide a documented action plan. Anything short of that is guesswork. Air duct cleaning alone does not eliminate the source of mold. Mold develops because of moisture is present, typically from a lack of dehumidification in the air handling unit or failing duct seals. Until the source is identified and corrected, cleaning ducts is simply treating the symptom and not the problem. Additional routine filter replacement and quarterly system maintenance do far more to ensure air cleanliness and equipment longevity than a one-time duct cleaning. Before spending taxpayer dollars, we should be asking these questions. What are the competing bids? Will the residents know what the bids were? And will the residents know if you hired someone that gave a higher bid than someone else? Where are the professional assessments that justify this expenditure? Best practices and fiscal responsibility require at least 2 additional quotes and a professional evaluation before moving forward. Our residents deserve decisions grounded in data, not assumptions. I'm reading the statement. Unfortunately, Rob Curto could not be here. So I read the statement from Rob Curto, civil engineer, 2009 Hexham Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Was it 2 months ago that we did the review? Just to ease, if you want to relay this information to Mr. Curto, we did do an environmental evaluation. I believe we had 3 or 4 quotes. We had the building. If you lived here, you probably remember it was about 30 some odd years ago, which is the age of the roof. So if you were driving by recently, you saw us replacing the roof, which we believed, as the professionals did, was the source of the moisture in the building. I think also when it was built to look beautiful, and there were some pieces of the building that they weren't the best for maintenance. So it was really tricky for our team to keep it maintained the way that it looked nice and then also functioned well. So we had some hiccups there, but we did have a lot of assessors come through and go through the environment and just the air quality in not every part of the building, but some of the parts of the building. We have a requirement to keep our employees safe as well. So we did do those assessments. They were on resolutions, and I can't remember if they were last month or the month before, but we'd be happy to furnish those results and the quotes that came with it. But that's sort of that's the push for the, this building's 30 some odd years old. The vents have never been cleaned. So there's that as well. Just to ease your mind that we didn't just haphazardly throw that in as a contract. It was a long process that we went through to get to this point. But we'd be happy to send those over to Mr. Curto if he needs them. Okay, were you more?
Yeah, I was going to say, before we go to resolutions, it's very nice that people stay for the resolutions. I know sometimes they're boring and people leave, but it is nice to hear them. It shows that people, care. And on that note, I know a couple people recently at Privilege of the Floor have questioned, like, why isn't there more deliberation? Why are things rubber stamped? Why is everything a yes? So I feel like if people are going to put the time in, if you guys are going to put the time in to watch the resolutions and stay, like tonight, or people are going to tune in on YouTube and watch, I want to make sure everyone knows that there is a process involved, and I want to make sure everyone knows the process, because it's only fair that if you're here, you understand. And we don't really talk about the process. There's nowhere to really talk about it. So if you think about Schoolhouse Rock and how a bill becomes a law, that song, I wish we had a song for this, because it's kind of like how a resolution gets 5 yeses. And it is a process. There are committee meetings. Those committee meetings get an agenda based on what we need to do as a town, what residents are concerned about, what department heads are bringing to the table, what our attorney brings to the table. So there's lots of pieces that go into those committee meetings. And if people can't make them, we are happy to meet with people privately. Our department heads meet with the public all the time. So we can always get your like one-on-one view on things. So we have those committee meetings. Sometimes the agendas and the resolution items take a month if there's something that's like just part of what we need to do every day, day-to-day, function of the town. Sometimes they can take a year. Sometimes we talk about those for a year or more, hopefully not. But sometimes we have to keep researching. We have to keep talking to people. We have to have public forums. We need to do a lot of work. So these resolutions can take a month. They could take 12 months. Then they go to finance, which is a whole nother committee. They go to agenda, which is a whole nother committee. Behind the scenes, we're talking to residents. We're talking to each other. We are doing research. We're running things through legal. We are running things through finance. There is so much work that gets done. And yes, it gets done after dinner time. I've heard that people are worried about that. Yes, I tell my kids all the time, sorry guys, mom's working. Give me some time. And that is the part of the job. We put the time in. And we work before work. We all have jobs. We work after work. We work 11 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter. We put the work in. And it's not easy. Sometimes we usually don't agree on certain things. And we talk to each other and we look at the research and we email each other like information we're getting from residents or information we got from finance, and we go through numbers and we go to private meetings with the comptroller and learn more about things. So when we get to 5 yeses, it actually is a sign of an efficient government system. It shows that we put the work in and we're not sitting here arguing with each other because we have come to an agreement of what is best for the town. And yes, we never forget that we have people in our town who need our help. We help people every day. And we are all in this together. But it's really great when people stay and don't just get up at the end. I mean, I know it's the boring part, but it is nice to feel like our community's here and we're all working together. But the resolutions, we're not going to sit here and deliberate and yell at each other. Hopefully, once in a while, that might happen. We're human. But in general, we work really well together and we disagree respectfully and professionally. And that's what we're here for. We're not here to argue. We're here to share ideas and be professional. So with that said, I just wanted to make sure that I cleared that up because we're not going to sit here and deliberate tonight 28 resolutions. We're going to say yes to every single one of these because we've put the work in. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that so they weren't confused, because it might not, if you didn't know that, you might think, oh, they're just yesing things, but there's hours and hours of man time put into every resolution.
Laura Galto, 1049 Palmer Avenue. I just want to piggyback on that, Jessica, too, because the packets have improved to me immensely because it's all here. There's 96 pages of stuff that back up the resolution. So that I find very helpful. I didn't see it at every meeting, but I'm seeing it now. So thank you.
Thanks, Nora.
Yes, so it is important to note that the 5 yeses are a result of all of those deliberations. We don't start off with 5 yeses, but hopefully when we get to the resolution, we end up with 4 or 5 yeses. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
All right, we'll move on to our resolutions. We'll start with 2025-244.
Sure.
2025-244, sponsored by Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
A resolution to award a contract for mold remediation.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
And we just talked through this. We went through a lot of discussion on this. All right. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan. Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. On to 2025-245, sponsored by Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
A resolution to authorize certain budgetary modifications and interfund transfers.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
This is on, I think, almost every month. These are just, well, at this time of the year, I feel like November, we're kind of shuffling a lot of different things, but we try to put everything out there. I think in the past, we've done kind of overarching categories. We've been try to be as detailed as possible about what we're moving around. But filling the gaps for things that were already budgeted may have come in a little bit higher. Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-246, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan.
A resolution to surplus firearm.
Think you'd have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Again, this is a resolution to surplus the old, their Glocks and replace them with new ones.
All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes on to 2025-247, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan.
A resolution to authorize the purchase of Motorola LPR equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
This was budgeted for, and this is again putting the LPRs on a traffic trailer and also on a solar powered reader.
All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-248, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan.
A resolution to permanently appoint a police officer.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This is to permanently appoint Kayla Mabo, and we're really excited to welcome her permanently to our department.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-250.
A resolution to authorize the chief of police to apply for the Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Grant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I think we do this every year, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 match grant. So instead of paying full price for the vests, we're going to apply to let them have fun.
I like it. All right. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-250, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to appoint a plant operator trainee.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? This is one of, I think, 4 positions we have open between water and sewer. So we're trying. We're trying. If you know anyone who likes to work with sludge, just let us know. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-251, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to surplus vehicles and equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? Kind of just,
Yeah, just older vehicles and equipment that are no longer in use that are being surplused to generate some revenue for that department.
Great.
Forklifts, log splitters, air compressors, just equipment that's no longer needed and will be added back into the budget.
great. Will the clerk please call the roll?
We've held on to a couple of these for a long time. Our 2005 Chevy Silverado.
We were going to give that to you, actually.
Like a
We
rock.
thought maybe you would want it.
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-252, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to authorize refund of water utility overpayments.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
It was brought to our attention recently that 2 larger companies in town were significantly overcharged for utilities. And so this is reimbursing them the money that they were overcharged.
Yeah, it was a multiplier issue in our fabulous billing software. So that was great. Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes on to 2025-253, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to authorize the purchase of a correlator equipment to detect water leaks.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
This is a piece of equipment that we place on fire hydrants to detect water leaks. It helps us identify the exact location of the leaks. Our current software no longer supports the equipment that we currently have. And so this is just updating that tool.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes on to 2025-254.
A resolution to authorize the repair of water tower gate controls for the water tower.
It's a bit repetitive, isn't it? Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? This is the security at the,
Water tower.
okay.
Yes. Updating the security there, adding the gate entry to our key fob system so we can easily track who's going in and out of our facilities.
It's you, isn't it? No. All right. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes 2025-255, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to authorize the finishing and protecting of floors at the water treatment plant in the chemical and filter rooms.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? Kind of boring. Floors. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-256, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin.
A resolution to authorize the purchase of a Bobcat 80-inch vibratory roller with smooth drum.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this?
This is a budgeted item for highway. This is to help with the maintenance of our fields in the Parks Department.
I think this is the one we eked out, right?
And-
Because,
We did.
yeah. So we were going to put it in next year, but Ray was able to find a good price and we got some extra money from surplus items. So I appreciate you. All right. Did we get a second? We did, right?
Yes.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-257, sponsored by Councilmember Delarada.
A resolution to call for a public hearing on a special use permit allowing a place of public worship in a single-family home as to permit principal use in a substandard lot.
It's a mouthful. Do I have a second? Any discussion on this? This is just for the public hearing. We're doing this in December?
To call, yes.
Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes 2025-258, sponsored by Councilmember Delarada.
A resolution to appoint a new alternate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? I will say I know Renee really well, and she's a fantastic attorney. I also happen to have coached her in cheerleading back in the day, so strongly recommend. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes on to 2025-259, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz.
A resolution to appoint a water and sewer maintenance worker 1.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Any discussion on this?
This is appointing a new employee in the Water and Sewer Department. We had 2 vacancies for this position. This takes care of one of them. And so if anyone is interested in joining our team, niskuna.gov,
Please
please.
bring your sludge hat. I don't know. What do they wear there? I'm not even sure.
We call it slime people. Want to
Slime.
play with it.
Oh, okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes. 2025-260, sponsored by Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
A resolution to permanently appoint a network and systems technician.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
This is for Kevin, who joined our team and has already passed his test, making him permanent. So this is a routine resolution. Any additional discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution passes. 2025-261, sponsored by Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
A resolution to adopt annual budget of the town of Niskiuna for 2026.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I want to thank yourself and Controller's Office and everyone that worked very hard on this budget. There was a lot of work behind the scenes. People don't realize, as Jessica said, a lot of work goes into a lot of these resolutions, and a tremendous amount of work goes into the yearly budget that we produce here in the town. And we are very sensitive to any type of increases to our residents. And we do the best that we can to keep that as minimal as possible. But it is our job to keep this town running. It is our job to support the employees of the town to make sure that they have what they need to keep the town running and provide the services that we're responsible for as a town government. And every year we work hard at it. And when it comes budget time, we work even harder, but we are doing the best that we can.
And I would add to that and say attracting people who want to work here and retaining people, because it's very hard for us, as you've seen month after month, to find people to fill essential work positions. So that is part of our thinking when we make decisions on raises and steps.
Yeah, we have to make sure we still have stash at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Any other discussion?
I do want to thank everybody involved in this. It's a very well-balanced budget that addresses short-term debt, which we very badly needed to do, but also addresses long-term infrastructure goals. So very well done, Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. Oh, go ahead, please.
I've learned a lot over the last 4 years, but one of the things I learned very quickly here, and one of the things I was most impressed by, is the amount of work that goes into this budget. It's not just sitting down at a computer and plugging some numbers into an Excel spreadsheet and generating a tax rate. It's endless conversations with department heads, budget workshops, emails back and forth, meetings every day. The amount of knowledge that comes from our department heads from the Comptroller's Office is extremely impressive. And of course, as elected representatives, being financially responsible and adopting this budget is arguably our most important role. And so I think we should all be proud of the amount of work that goes into it, the amount of collaboration and work that we all do behind the scenes is commendable for sure. I also think it's pretty impressive that we're paying off short-term debt, not incurring any new debt.
It's really
That's an
exciting.
accomplishment.
I'm like, I think it's going to be tight this year, but 27 we will have a nice slate to work with. So,
It's going to put us in a good position.
and we will not have to spend any more money rolling it over, which is what we've done a few times. So I'm glad we're not doing that again. Wonderful. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. And on to our last resolution is 2025-262, sponsored by Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
A resolution to appoint a part-time deputy town attorney.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second. I'm very happy to see this. As I've said many times, our town attorney, Elena Finnan, does a phenomenal job, and we've had a difficult time trying to find her some help. I want to thank Mr. Hess for coming this evening. He's one of our deputies that fills in when we need him, and he's been a great resource for our town. So I'm happy to see that we have someone else, and I'm hopeful that this works out.
Me too. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, what a relief, right?
I've been here for 4 years and we've been looking for 4 years, so I
I
don't know how
know.
long before. that.
I'm, wait, yeah, it's, I'm hopeful that
It's
it
a
will
very
help.
specific genre of loss.
it's true, I know.
They're
The
fine.
weird, it just is, All right, any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Cassidy Dorian.
Yes,
5 ayes.
resolution passes. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.